I would like to know what's your feeling about the difference of attitude between America and France in terms of the story of colonization and slavery. What's your feeling?
My feeling is that in France, authorities don't want a conversation to happen and have been avoiding the question for decades. I can just see what is available as documentation. What do young people learn in school? What do they learn about slavery? What do they learn about colonization? It's very superficial, as if France was not comfortable with those stories, but it's part of the history of France. Without slavery and colonization, France wouldn't be one of the superpowers, economic and military. France was able to do an industrial revolution and get its people out of poverty because it was able to occupy and exploit other people around the world. So the real question is, why are these conversations not happening in France? I don't have the answer to that. Those conversations have been happening in the United States of America for decades. People live in the same country, next to each other. Communities live next to each other. And that history of slavery has consequences of racism, of how minority are treated in America. So people have to talk. There's no choice. And you have many museums dedicated to the history of slavery or to the journey of African American people in different states in America. France doesn't have any museum dedicated to those parts of history. So I don't know. I think maybe France needs a national therapy and rethink what they teach in school, because that's a political decision. And it's astonishing to see that we are in the 21st century with so many information available online on the internet, and yet you find people who say, oh, I didn't know. Yes, okay, you didn't know because you didn't learn it in school, but when you became an adult, did you start asking yourself some basic questions about where your country comes from? And did you do that basic effort of going and finding information about the 16th, 17th, 18th, and 19th century of your country? You also didn't do that. So you just really, there's a lack of, let's say, intellectual curiosity. And I will say in the 21st century, to say, I'm sorry, I didn't know, it's not acceptable as an excuse.